Am I the asshole for letting my mom prepare her entire scheme before revealing I had already moved my trust fund without warning her once?
So welcome to Beltcom Rapido Story. Today's story is Total Power Move. Imagine turning 18s and your mom makes you a birthday reference. This is slide a photo over and trick you into signing away from your $680,000 trust fund. But the stry is we're already gone at midnight. Let's dive in.
I turned 18 yesterday. I want to write this down while it's still fresh because I've been sitting with it for months and I need to know if what I did was wrong. This morning my mom made birthday breakfast. Eggs, the good orange juice, the whole thing. She seemed cheerful in a way that felt slightly off. Like someone performing cheerful rather than actually being it. Halfway through breakfast, she slid a folder across the table and told me she needed me to sign some documents. She said it was for the family's financial planning. She said it was in everyone's best interest, including mine. She said my grandpa would have wanted us to be taken care of as a family. I looked at the folder. Then I looked at her. I already knew exactly what was in it, some background that my dad died when I was 10. My grandpa stepped in after that in the way that only some people know how to do. Quietly, consistently, without making a performance of it. He came 2 things. He called. He remembered the details of my life. When my mom remarried a few years later and things got complicated at home, he was the person I called as my grandpa died years ago. He left me a trust fund, around $680,000, built over decades of careful saving. The terms were straightforward. I would have full access and control at 18. Until then, it was held in trust, and my mom had no legal claim to it. I knew my mom and my stepdad had money problems. I had known for a while. My stepdad's business had been struggling, and there had been a lot of tense conversations behind closed doors that stopped when I walked into the room. What I didn't know, until a few months ago, was the specific plan they had made. I found out by accident. I came home earlier than expected one afternoon and heard my mom on the phone. She was talking to someone about paperwork, about a family company, about a transfer. She used my name. She used a number that I recognized. I stood in the hallway and listened for a few minutes. Then I went upstairs and sat on my bed and thought about what to do. My grandpa had left me a letter. Not in the will, separately, given to me directly the last time I saw him, with instructions not to open it until I felt like I needed it. I had kept it in a box under my bed for 2 years. I opened it that night, thought it was 3 pages. He told me he loved me. He told me he had watched my mom and stepdad carefully, and that he had concerns about what might happen when I turned 18. He told me he had a close friend, a lawyer he had worked with for over 30 years, and that if I ever needed protection, I should call him first and trust him completely. He had included the number. I called the next morning, got my grandpa's lawyer had been expecting to hear from me at some point. My grandpa had briefed him before he died. We met twice over the following weeks, and he walked me through everything. What my mom's lawyer was apparently preparing, what it would mean, and what I could do about it. So we set up a new trust. My grandpa's lawyer named it the Margaret Trust, after my grandma, irrevocable, structured so that once the transfer was complete, no one, not my mom, not my stepdad, not anyone acting on their behalf, could touch it. The transfer required my signature, and I could only sign as the account holder once I turned 18. At 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second a.m. on my birthday, I signed the documents online. My grandpa's lawyer had everything ready. The transfer completed in minutes by the time my mom made birthday eggs this morning. It was already done. So, back to the folder on the breakfast table, I let her finish explaining. She talked for about 2 minutes about family planning and shared interests and how this was just a formality. My stepdad sat across from me and nodded along. Then I told her I knew about the meetings with her lawyer. I told her I knew about the company. I told her I knew what was in the folder and what it was designed to do. She started to say something. I called my grandpa's lawyer on speaker and put the phone on the table. He explained clearly and without editorializing that the Margaret Trust had been activated and funded as of 12 hours ago, that the original trust no longer held assets that could be transferred, that the documents in the folder were now legally meaningless if my mom sat very still, that my stepdad pushed his chair back and left the table. I finished my orange juice and went upstairs. Am I the asshole? Some people I've told think I should have confronted my mom when I first found out, months ago, that I let her waste time and money on something that was never going to work and that was cruel. That I should have given her a chance to explain or back down before it got to this, maybe. I've thought about it. But I also keep thinking about the fact that she made me birthday breakfast this morning and smiled at me and slid that folder across the table like I wouldn't know what it was. That she was going to use my grandpa's name to do it, I don't know. That's why I'm asking Dr. Long. Didn't read. My mom and stepdad had been planning to have me sign my $680,000 trust fund over to a family company the moment I turned 18. My grandpa had left me a letter warning me this might happen and told me to call his lawyer. I set up an irrevocable trust called the Margaret Trust and completed the transfer at 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second a.m. on my birthday. This morning, my mom slid the folder across the table. I let her explain, then put my grandpa's lawyer on speaker. Am I the asshole for not warning her first? Edit, I've been reading comments for the last 2 hours. To answer what keeps coming up, yes, my grandpa's lawyer is aware of what my mom's lawyer did and is determining next steps. No, I don't have anywhere else to live right now, but my aunt has already offered her spare room to edit too. My mom knocked on my bedroom door an hour ago. I didn't open it. Don't know what I would say. Going to try to sleep. Well, update?
Oh my gosh, I'm Riddler's rimming. She actually pulled her Rambow's lawyer on speakerphone right at the breakfast table. Could you imagine the look on her mom and stepdad's face? Their jaws must have hit the floor. They thought they were so slick, using a birthday breakfast to scam an 18 years old. But our girl had a secret letter from her grandpa, and by tail and 1 a.m., the money will lock in the Margaret Trust forever. Some friends say she was a fool for not warning them, but honestly, they tried to rob her. Trafty backcourt guys, because of this one, is where their entire Riedovlin completely forms apart.
Update 1. 1 week Terry moved out for days ago. I'm at my aunt's house now. My own room, my own key. Nobody sliding folders across breakfast tables. Here's what happened in the days after that my mom's lawyer. Once the situation became clear, understood fairly quickly that he had been helping prepare documents intended to defraud a minor's inheritance. My grandpa's lawyer filed a formal complaint with the state bar. The investigation took a few weeks, but the outcome came through recently. My mom's lawyer has been suspended from practicing for 3 years at my stepdad's financial situation, which had apparently been far worse than I knew. Collapsed without the plan he had been counting on. He moved out of the house within the week. I don't know where he went, and I haven't asked as my mom has called me 6 times since I left. I haven't picked up. I've read the texts. They've gone from angry to apologetic in a way that feels less like genuine remorse and more like someone recalculating. I could be wrong about that. I don't think I am, as my aunt hasn't asked me to explain anything. She just made up the spare room and stocked the kitchen with the foods she remembered I liked from when I was little. And when I arrived, she hugged me for a long time without saying anything. I have an admission offer from Penn State that I've been sitting on for months, not sure if I could actually go. My grandpa's trust covers tuition. It covers housing. It covers all of it as I accepted the offer yesterday that I start in the fall.
I am chomping up and down right now. The mom's lawyer got suspended for 3 years for trying to cheat a minor. Yes, that's in what I call professional karma. At step that, he literally packed his bags and ran away because his business collapsed without obese money. Poor poetry. Opie is finally out of that toxic house, living with her sweet aunt. And guess what? She's begging for band stage. But wait, there's one final update about the aftermath, what happened to her mom, and the beautiful legacy her Rampor Levy has. Let's finish this amazing story.
Update 2. Final, it's been a few months. I want to close this out properly that my mom's lawyer is officially suspended for 3 years. That's done as my stepdad filed for bankruptcy. He had debts I didn't know about. The family company he and my mom had been planning to use for the transfer was already in trouble before any of this happened. The plan hadn't been just about greed. It had been about desperation. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I've been thinking about it since my mom is still in the house, but I've heard through my aunt that things are difficult financially. She hasn't reached out in a few weeks. I haven't reached out either. I'm not going to pretend that doesn't sit with me. She's still my mom. But she looked at me across a birthday breakfast table and handed me a folder and used my grandpa's name to try to take what he left me. I keep coming back to that. I don't know how to get past it yet. I'm at Penn State now. I've been here for 6 weeks, Dad. It's the first time in my life I've lived somewhere that felt entirely mine. I make my own schedule. I buy my own groceries. I eat dinner at whatever time I want. These are small things, but they don't feel small. The Margaret Trust. My grandpa named it after my grandma. The woman he loved for 40 years processes my tuition automatically every semester. I see the name on my financial records, and I think about him sitting down with his lawyer years ago, writing that letter. Preparing all of this quietly and carefully because he knew something I didn't yet. He knew I would need it. He knew before I did that the people who were supposed to protect me might not. And instead of being angry about that or making it dramatic, he just made sure I would be okay. He did it with a letter under a bed and a phone number and a lawyer who answered on the second ring. That's the kind of love that doesn't announce itself. It just shows up when you need it. Not the asshole, obviously. But honestly, the question of whether I was the asshole feels very small compared to everything else. The real question was whether I was going to be okay, so I think the answer is yes. I'm just starting to believe it, Dr. Long. Didn't read. My mom's lawyer got suspended for 3 years. My stepdad went bankrupt and moved out. My mom and I aren't in contact. I'm at Penn State using my own inheritance. The Margaret Trust processes my tuition every semester, and I think about my grandpa every time I see the name. I'm okay.
Well, that's a emotional and powerful ending. The step that went back rough, the shady lawyer is done. And OPE officially as Ben stays, living her best life on her own terms. I'm literally got goosebumps with you talk about the McGarrick Trust paying her tuition automatically. Does Rambo were a true guardian angel. He knew exactly who those people were, and he set up Inceptinus under her bed years ago. That's a real love. It's sad about her mom, but honestly, she's smiling at her daughter over birthday eggs while trying to steal her future. Desperate or not, you just don't do that to your own kids. OP will want Harrier right to rotate herself and block out the noise. But I'll have to ask the Popcornrest bro, would you have confronted the mom months before, or would the freckles speak her for moments the perfect punishment? And do you think she should ever talk to her moms again? Throw your dogs in the comments. I'm dying to see you takes. If you love this story of ultimate justice and friend finally love, Shimada Lai burn as a fry tubak and remember this story. Share your bakkarin, call your favorite relatives, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.